Welcome, Trips Awakening. You subscribe to the truth, one within the universe, and universe is inside me. Greetings, Earthlings and my loved ones. It would be an honor if y'all would join me. I was doing some thinking, and I'm very in tune with the universe. And I feel like I get like a lot of information, from my dimension, deep within. And I'm going to share my frequency with y'all to really give y'all something to think about. Now, this is just my opinion, and I feel strongly about this. They said, that we was in debt, this corporation company, because there's not no such thing as America. It's a corporation, okay? They said we was in $1 trillion in debt, and they owe China something like that. I talked about this like a long time ago, and I ain't ready to get deep into that. So I was like, if this country is, this corporation country, if it's in debt and it owes other countries money, then how come they rule in other countries? And I was like, that just didn't add up. That just didn't make sense to me, So I really started digging deep. Okay. They said we're in debt. Woodrow Wilson signed over the property and the rights in 1933, which I talked about that already a long time ago. And I feel like it's more to it than that, and I feel like it's deeper than that. I feel like these creatures and these society groups got together and they lied about the whole thing, about saying that, we was in debt. And I don't think so. I think they made the whole thing up to work our energy. I feel like the executive orders and certain contracts that they sign, they basically signing your nature, your frequency, your energy, and your soul. On the paper, you basically signing it to the trees. You get what I'm saying? And I talked about that already, about how the trees, it gives us oxygen and the energy off the trees. You sign your nature to that, and they use certain spells and hypnotic spells, and I feel like they using our energy. And basically, the executive orders is basically to execute us. You earthlings, especially like where our energy is in the physical bodies and we exist many places. But I feel like they set that mess up, the debt, because they said we're in debt, and I just said to myself, it just didn't sound right. I feel like it's just make believe, which I don't like to use the word believe, but I feel like it's false. Okay, I feel like it's false. I feel like they created that to control our energy, have us to work for them and sacrifice us. And they basically signing our energy and to other different dimensions. They connected with certain other things. And I feel like, in order for them to do that, they cause fears and distraction, and that's how they gain control. Now, if people could get on the same frequency, on the same frequency all together, many of Earthlings got different styles. Some of this stuff wouldn't work. They're feeding off of this. So this debt, it just didn't make sense to me. And that's the reason why they created all of this stuff. Like, it's so much behind the curtain. And that's the reason why I pull it back and expose a lot of stuff. Like the word God. I feel like they created, well, of course, I already know that's a man-made word. But the God is basically this paper money, which they invented, because it gets you whatever you want and cause confusion and cause distractions and destroy a lot of souls and sucking up and absorbing the positive energy. So, this debt crap, I think it's a bunch of lies. I think that's something that they've been programming, because every time, everything changed every single minute. Every hour, something new is changing, different energies and different types of frequencies, come through. Some of it anyway. You get what I'm saying? So they, basically got together with other countries and stuff. And other countries really not at war. That's something that they really made up and got y'all thinking that, to cause fear and cause distractions. This debt mess is like, we're not in debt. Some of y'all might be in debt with yourself. And that's what they got y'all thinking. It don't have nothing to do with what they created. That's something that they created. And not only that, they're controlling your energy, your frequency. They've been programming, for decades. They've been programming for decades, y'all. In the school system, they was teaching earthlings how to cast spells. Programming them to, with this history. How come you think that they had the fire alarms? They basically had something silent where our frequency could pick up on, and it would throw, you earthlings off. And then they ring the bell every period for you to go to the next, second period, third period, or fourth period. That bell, that buzzing sound, that mess was basically, to throw your frequency off, to basically hypnotize people, because it's a lot of earthlings actually believe this history stuff. And like I said, all of this stuff is created. This stuff is not real. What you see around you is not real. Our energy and our soul is real, and we can travel through different dimensions, but this stuff that they invented, this history mess, this African mess, this white supremacist mess, this hate crime groups and history, the Bible, the books, celebrities, this shit is not real. This is some shit that they invented to throw you off. It's deeper than that, y'all. That's why I say claim your soul and basically dig deep. You're not in debt. That's something that they created. You have energy. You have souls. We're the stars. We're the sun. And they've been surviving off of you earthlings for decades. Like I said before, we got many generations in us. We can go on from off of this realm and be greater But some going to still be stuck because they're not basically in tune with the universe. They're not trying to move up high. You know, right now I feel like I have the high ground. And I'm sure others that's aware, they feel like they have the high ground too. You know, so this stuff that they created is a bunch of mess. It's not real. The slave stories. You know, some of y'all actually believe some of that. Like I said, we all was prisoners at war, and they was robbing y'all resources, your energy inside. There's a lot of stuff inside of you. You don't have no idea what you got inside of you, and they know this. And that's how they was able to survive, create these different types of technology and different types of dimensions and connect with certain things because they latch on, they attach on to your energy. You know, it causes confusions. You know, like I said, with the false like books and the new religion is conscious mess. They're causing confusions. And y'all that's carrying on that frequency and it's grabbing you by your whole body, sucking your soul and your loved ones, y'all basically going backwards and you will fail. You'll fall deep into that hole and be lost in that hole. You won't get out of it. And they know this. And that's how they was able to survive in certain parts of the universe. Because they basically using the earthlings' energy and their physical body and their organs. And their blood. Like I said, we're the universe. You know, I see things different. I see certain things that you just can't imagine. I feel certain things. I sense certain things. You know, like this mess that, they try to program us with. Once your DNA get activated, or if you actually come out the portal and you've been seeing this mess for a long time, which I seen a lot of stuff when I was young. I can remember when I was like 3 or 4, and some people can't remember back that far. But I remember certain things, and I seen certain things that would freak some people out. You know, some people have it, and some people just don't. You know, and people is trying to get there. They can get there, but you got to dig deep inside. You know, don't go by the public system and the stuff that they made up. You know, how they secretly try to do certain things. That's why they created these shots, the vaccines, and certain sounds. And school, like I said, about the bells. The bells had something that was controlling people's frequency. And then, they had certain art classes, and then the music. Like the music wasn't, you was basically taking in the school system's Pledge of Allegiance, or the, what else they have in school, the certain things that they would sing in school back then. He was taking on that frequency, which had something attached to it. And they was like programming with, this, taking everything from y'all, created all of this mess that's going on, nothing but lies. They want y'all to learn, and they want y'all to stay behind so they can rise and not give y'all certain information. That's the reason why they, hid the moon, so you can't connect with the real moon. But the moon sometimes, the old saying they said, not to get off topic, the sun shines on a dog's ass every once in a while. Sometimes I feel like the moon and the sun is in the inner earth. The rays would actually hit us, hit our DNA, activate certain things. And that's just how I feel about certain things. They even was programming, people through the TVs, how they want y'all to act. And it's been going on for decades. Everybody was on a family thing. It was all about the family. And then, of course, they've been having sports for generations. Decades, excuse me, y'all. And then, like, they had families, and then that's when they created, it's like every generation, it's a repeat. And I'm sure they're doing it in other different dimensions because we exist. We're in the past and the future and unknown cities, all mixed in one, carrying on different types of frequencies. Because basically, these creatures, these beings that's out, these hybrids, they know about what's about to happen. That's why so much mess is going on, and it's going to continue. It's a repeat, and things will fail for them. That's why they're panicking. They know what time it is. I'm not worried about none of this mess. I could care less about the celebrities, the politicians, the world leaders, the daggone flag, the rappers, singers, entertainers. I don't care nothing about that. I'm focusing on my loved ones. And I could care less about the damn community, because the community, that's not ours. That's another distraction as well too. The community, everybody, what can you do for the community? You can't even do nothing for yourself because you don't own nothing. Y'all gave them the power to take over every single thing. They were basically tricked back then, and it's been passed on to generations to generation. That's the reason why I put out videos, because to build people up. It's time to start switching things up and stop all that talking. The truth moves in silence. You get certain things done when you use your soul, your energy, your many gifts, that you got inside of you. You got to look at it this way. None of this stuff is real. It's not real. And when you start thinking like that, then you will get it. You can control certain things. You can actually stop time if you really want to. Like, you really can stop time. You can switch up certain things. You don't have to go by what you see others do, because whatever you see others do, or however it works for them, it might not even work for y'all. You got to create your gifts. You got to connect with yourself. You got to see what you can do, because you can do anything. You can do anything. You can control your dimension if you allow it. To me, all of this stuff is not real. You know what I'm saying? Souls and energy, that's real to me. Different dimensions and stuff, that's real to me. The other stuff, that's some stuff that they created and got us basically in the dome. We're basically, they experimenting. Got our energy stuck in this physical body because, like I said before, for real, some of you earthlings, you don't know what your image really look like. We're in a physical body. We come in many forms, different forms. Not just this physical body. It's more to it than that. It's time for y'all to create your own time. Create your own dimension. Create your own world. Because we're in between many dimensions right now. And that's just real. Like I said, we're in many different dimensions. Like, that's the reason why they got this television. I was thinking, like, even soap operas. I was thinking the other day, really not to get off topic, but I wanted to throw this in there on my last video. they had all my children, one life to live, and General Hospital. And I was thinking about that, like, back in the day, we even like kind of made jokes out of it, but this is real. We said all my children had one life to live at General Hospital or in General Hospital. And they was doing so many subliminal messages on television, CBS, and different corporations. They know what's going on. They know how powerful we are. They know certain planets we connected to. That's the reason why they block certain information. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't want us to get certain sun rays and the moon rays, and we do. We get a touch of it. But, if once that crack, the power grid run out, and the second sun really starts to shine, and the real other moons come through here. Not this fictional stuff that they created, and that underground stuff where they controlling things. That's the reason why they have houses and stuff and certain angles and stuff. Taking on, they're taking on your energy, sucking your energy and stuff out. They have it at certain angles. And the numbers, y'all, the numbers, they're using that to the fullest. Start making your own numbers. Start doing certain things. Start reversing stuff. It's time to get in tune and start reversing stuff. Reverse the spells back on them. And that's just real. And it was one more thing that I was going to tell y'all. Hold on for a second. What? Did somebody say something?